H-A-T. It's in the name.
Welcome into the Helping Healing Humor podcast with Ben and Travis. We're going to talk a little bit about some Thanksgiving, maybe some Thanksgiving for some things that maybe we weren't so thankful for at one point in our life. We'll get right to that conversation after these important messages. This episode of the Helping Healing Humor with Ben and Travis podcast is presented by Faulkner University. Faulkner University is a private Christian liberal arts university based in Montgomery, Alabama, with a mission to provide an education anchored by not only intellect, but also character and service. The Faulkner experience aims to educate the whole person. Every individual matters every day. We all want to become better versions of ourselves. No one wants to remain trapped where they are because of missed opportunities and unrealized dreams. At Faulkner University, we believe your dreams don't have an expiration date. We understand that you're looking for more than a degree. You want to find your niche and thrive in your career. Whether you're a high school senior just beginning your trek or an adult student looking for a better path, Faulkner is here to help guide your journey. Go to faulkner.edu to apply or get more info. That's faulkner.edu. I'm Travis Creasy. That's All-Pro Counselor Ben Hayes. How are you, Ben?
I'm doing good. It is Thanksgiving break, so how can I not be good? Got a little bit of a break, even though I'm sitting in my office. A little break from school, at least, not having to get up quite as early in the mornings. Loving it. So doing pretty well. How about yourself? I assume you're on break as well.
Yes, all week long. I have picked up basketball coaching credentials, so there'll be a couple of those meetings, one later today and one in the morning when this episode will be released. But you know, sometimes people need you and you don't know they need you until they need you. And so you jump in, you get involved and all that good stuff. So obviously I would appreciate prayers, but I am thankful for a great break, thankful to be able to sleep a little later. And of course, we'll be traveling around and hopefully see your sorry carcass in person in a few days.
I'm counting on it. Are you guys going to be at, I assume, the Hayes get together on Friday?
Yes.
Are y'all staying around for the Iron Bowl on Saturday?
Yeah. You know, we usually stick around until we get sick of it. Which doesn't
sick of the family or sick of the Iron Bowl?
Sick of the Iron Bowl. Ben trying to get me in trouble.
I am.
But there's been several times over the last few years that we've been kind of like, it's time to go. I'm tired of watching this. Yeah. And the Tide usually somehow pulls it out. So maybe heading back to Tennessee helps some.
Well, yeah, that's true. It has. Y'all have left before, and then somehow miracles have happened. So I don't know. We'll probably see you at least one of those, and maybe both of those events. I think my brother's going to be in town per usual, and so they usually try to hit a couple of those things. So we'll be probably at the Iron Bowl as well, at the old Danny and Myra's house, the traditional place to watch the ball game growing up. We've had some, you know, the best of times, the worst of times have probably occurred watching games in that house because we've seen some good games and we've seen some bad games through the years. So,
well, that's a great transition into what I was kind of wanting to talk about things that we are now thankful for that maybe at the time we weren't thankful for. And I was going to do Thanksgiving food edition because that's what we're thinking about this week. Is nothing expresses thankfulness like stuffing ourselves full of stuff that we don't necessarily need, but it sure is good. But yeah, I would say that I'm thankful for maybe the down times for the Tide when we were growing up that make the now times that much sweeter. And so things like that. If I'm going food, Ben, on Thanksgiving food, I wasn't a big fan growing up of, well, two things. Stuffing. I was not a big stuffing guy. And deviled eggs. And man, both of those things. The deviled eggs are a little easier. Like they don't have to be done right. There are some that are upper echelon. We won't get into that list because once again, I don't feel like getting in trouble.
You don't want to get in trouble.
But like stuffing is either all that or not. And it really is kind of a hit or miss on the stuffing.
So yeah, I'm the same way. And to respond to the first part about the games, I was telling somebody the other day, we lived through the Mike era of Alabama football.
Yeah.
There was a lot of Mikes that just didn't do our program well, but because of those, we ended up with the GOAT. So, at some point it came around and we got Nick Saban, and we are absolutely positively the most spoiled fan base on the planet, and I'm here for it. And I'm okay with the good, and I'm gonna soak in every bit of them. But what a season it's been already, just to see them go from really terrible at the beginning to something we're kind of proud of at this moment. So we'll see.
Yeah,
We'll see how the rest of the season goes.
there's so zero room for process and journey, which is really what this podcast is about. You are who you are in that moment, and to some degree, that's true. But back at the South Florida game, I was like, we might win 6 games, maybe get bowl eligible.
Yeah.
Man, it was pretty putrid, and even I was like, oh man, this is going to be rough. But I'm going to stick with them because we've had plenty of good. But Ben, to your maybe Thanksgiving meal, is there something that has made a comeback recently for you? Or are you just like, man, I like it all, give me some of that?
I do like the majority of it. I'm with you. Dressing is kind of like, I've had some that's like spot on. This is great. I've had some that's not so much, or stuffing as you called it. But the dressing is one of those. I think green bean casserole might be one of those that might not have always been on the top of the list. I mean, I think I've always liked it on some level, but it's probably, and again, I've had green bean casserole that's good. I've had green bean casserole that's great. And so it kind of depends. And I've had some that wasn't good at all. So it kind of depends on how it's fixed. But that one would probably be right up there with the ones I didn't like before and I like now. And I've had some bounce around on cranberry sauce. So not like I think used to, I kind of enjoyed the ones that had the berries in them, or that, were like homemade. But I'm just going to say it, that I don't know that anybody does it as well as the can does it. Like canned cranberry sauce
Yeah.
is just, it's the stuff, man. I mean, like, and I won't, if I'm going to have dressing, if I'm going to have stuffing, I need that canned cranberry sauce. Like it's the stuff to me that makes the dressing. And some would disagree, but I think give me the can all day long.
This episode of Helping Healing Humor podcast with Ben and Travis is brought to you by Daisy's Place. In 2003, little Daisy was fighting for her life. Each time she went into ICU, Carolyn, her mom, had no place to put her things or rest. Do you have a story like mine? When your loved one is in the hospital, the last thing you need to worry about is a place to rest. Daisy's Place is a free place to stay in Florence, Alabama, while your loved ones need you the most. Daisy's Place needs you. Share your gifts as a volunteer, spread the word, donate, and sponsor to help serve others in their time of need. Go to daisysplace.org. That's DAISY-PLACE.org. Or give Carolyn a call at 256-629-6729. That's 256-629-6729.
Do you got any underrated desserts or underrated food in general during Thanksgiving? I like the fruits, not necessarily fruit salad. I don't know. It's a dessert because it's like grapes and it's got Cool Whip and it's got.
Yeah. I think they call that
something
fruit
on
salad. I think
fruit salad. Is that what it's called? Because
so.
Man, I can take that anytime. There's some Thanksgiving food that I think is only a Thanksgiving food. Like you just don't do that any other time of the year. Maybe the dressing is it. I don't know, but man, I could hit that up any time of year. Like I'm game. And I don't think it gets talked about enough.
It probably doesn't.
You got one like that?
It doesn't always come to my mind either, particularly. I don't know. I mean, because when I'm sitting here thinking about Thanksgiving food, all the normal stuff comes. I mean, like a deep fried turkey is hard to beat.
Mhm.
If you haven't had like fried turkey, I mean I'm a fan of that. I don't know that that's low key necessarily, but you don't get that one everywhere. Oven baked turkey is probably the more typical, I guess. But I mean, I'm a pumpkin pie. I like a pumpkin pie. And it kind of depends. Like, when you get around the table and you start fixing the dessert and you've got what you already talked about, which sometimes is on the dessert table and sometimes is just mixed in there with the regular stuff. And then you got sweet potato casserole, which, by the way, is sweet potato casserole a dessert or is it part of the main meal?
Ooh.
That's the question.
Mm.
Where do you put it? Do you eat it with the main meal? Sorry about that.
We are such sweet potato people around here. So because we eat it as much as we can get it, I eat it with the meal. Depends on how sweet it is. If I'm seeing, a lot of whipped whipping cream, whatever that stuff is. Whatever. What is that?
Well, we call it whipped cream, but I think whipping cream is something you cook with.
Yeah. So whipped cream,
Anyway, I don't know.
on there, to me, that's what pushes it over the line into a dessert.
Okay.
It's not too much sweetness because it's really good. But like if you got some in there and it's just got like cinnamon on it, I think that could be part of the meal. I guess each to his own. How do you feel about it?
Well, I think the telltale sign, which I'm going to probably eat it with either. The good thing is if you eat it as a meal, then it doesn't count as that dessert and you don't have to feel as guilty about it.
Yeah.
But look, there's not a sweet potato casserole that's out there that's any better than when you get the crusted stuff on the top of it. It's like the candy pecans or something that they like that is like a hard crust across the top. That's the stuff. It's probably more of a dessert at that point, but I'd probably eat it with other. So back to my point, like, you start looking at this table and you go, which one of these desserts do I want to eat? Like I've got so many to choose from. Pumpkin pie is kind of, to me, is like the Thanksgiving dessert. Like I love all, and I might not would choose pumpkin pie at other times, but pumpkin pie during Thanksgiving is probably the one that stands out. But you got to compete with the pecan pie or the pecan or however you say it, however you guys out there say it. And you got to compete with the fruit salad, like you talked about. You got to compete with homemade cookies and cakes and all sorts of stuff. But it's usually going to come down to pecan or the pumpkin pie for me. So.
Well, I'm going to give you a hot take. Of all the holidays, Thanksgiving dessert is probably low on my list comparatively.
Oh yeah.
I'm more the summer or the Christmas. Apple pie, you can't ever go wrong with that with me.
That's a good point.
My mom bought me an entire apple pie. I say me. She did say, well, you could bring it to one of the family things or you could eat it yourself. And I chose, I'm about halfway through it through the week. So, but yeah, apple pie, and it has like caramel. It's caramel apple pie. It's not caramel in the pie, but it's on the top. And whoa,
yeah,
that's money. We obviously here at the Helping Healing Humor, the benandtravis.com, whatever you want to call it, are very thankful for all of you listeners' support, whether it's you just listen on a weekly basis, you're in our Facebook group, you're on our Patreon, or maybe you're just telling people about it or sharing it. We cannot be more thankful for you. I'm wearing my St. Jude shirt. We're thankful for St. Jude. Going to be running a few weeks and share that thankfulness. Ben, you're still raising money. How close are you on that? Real quick update.
I think I'm right around $500 that I'm lacking in getting to the 4,000, which is amazing that I'm at that point because I was still struggling a few weeks ago, and so I'm really glad to be there. And let me say this, just since we're on Thanksgiving, like that might be one of those things that I'm thankful for that I didn't think I would be thankful for. Is sometimes I'm really thankful for the St. Jude run being a week after Thanksgiving, because it keeps me from gorging myself too much on Thanksgiving. So it might have saved my life and my heart health a few times the last couple of years to kind of keep myself from eating quite as much as I used to on Thanksgiving. So
Yeah, and I train through it, so I'm burning off those calories. Of course, I probably use it the opposite direction, Ben. I go, oh, I'm doing all this running.
yeah,
I can eat all of this stuff and just continually eat it. But like I said, we're thankful for
absolutely.
Thank you to all those who listen. I want to mention specifically, we have 2 tiers on our Patreon, and we have the co-producer tier. And so a big thanks to Justin B, Doris C, Rhonda F, Scott K, and Mary H for supporting us at that level monthly. And you keep the lights on, we might say, and keep the podcast rolling. So thank you. We obviously hope and pray that you all have a wonderful Thanksgiving. And we just are so thankful for you and your family and what you mean to the kingdom of God and the purpose. And of course, any struggle, Ben, I think the Bible gives purpose to. And so there are a lot of things that we can be thankful for this week that maybe in the moment we weren't very thankful for, but we've learned. I know that I've learned compassion through some of my struggles and learned to be more like God for the other people when they face struggles. So we certainly appreciate it, Ben. I hope you have a great Thanksgiving.
Man, same to you. I think a lot about Philippians 4 around this time. You know, Paul learned how to get along with a lot and with a little when times were good and times were bad. And so finding some things to rejoice in. You may be having a struggle this year. This may be the first time you've gone through Thanksgiving with a loss or with some sort of other struggle in your life. But there's things out there to be thankful for. There's people to be thankful for. And we're thankful for you. So if you're listening to this and you hear those words, I want you to know we're thankful for you and for your friendship. So thank you guys for keeping us rolling for a couple of years now. Thanks for being with us for this episode of the Helping Healing Humor podcast. Be sure to download our free ebook, 28 Days of Focused Living, at benandtravis.com and receive all of our Helping Healing and Humor extra content directly in your inbox. We look forward to having you join us at the same Ben and Travis time, same Ben and Travis channel.